Hello and welcome, dear viewers, to a brand new episode of your show, The Untold. My name is Daij Al-Hutari and I'm here with my colleague Fatma Al-Awadi. How are you doing today, Fatma?
We're doing great. Thank you very much. And you?
I'm doing great. Well, today we're going not to meet only one guest, but two.
Yes,
and
two very
we're going to be
special
learning
guests.
a lot today. So what's your take on that?
Yes, so these two special guests, actually it's Dr. Huda Almahdi and her son Faris. Faris is a highly functioning autistic young man. We're going to explore what Faris is about and how he sees the world and the
From his
challenges.
perspective.
Of course, this episode is very special for me because I've known this family since 2018. So we're kind of like friends with the family, right? I can't wait for this episode to start.
Well, I can't wait as well. So with that being said, you gave me a good reason actually so that you can host this show. This episode today because there are going to be two, so I'm going to be chilling here with Fawaz and the crew, and I will enjoy listening to what's happening here today. So best of luck.
Thank you very much. So let's do it. We're here with Dr. Huda and Faris, and welcome to our show.
Hi. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Faris.
And thank you for having me for the second time.
Thank you very much for being here. So we're going to jump into the questions. Faris, in your own words, can you tell us what autism means to you?
That's a nice question, Fatima. Autism, which means not only disability, but a spectrum and neurological disorder.
Faris, can you describe a typical day in your life?
Thank you, Fatima. I woke up early in the morning. I pray Fajr and checked around the house. I do a few chores. I feed my own cats, and I especially love to hang out with my family with various activities
That's interesting.
like main events or traveling.
I love that he mentioned the cats too.
Of course.
Yes. And now, Dr. Huda, how has Faris' lifestyle changed, throughout the years?
Autistics, they have a routine. They usually stick to a routine. And I always say that I'm really lucky having Faris as my, he's a high-functioning autistic, which means that he can learn new things every day. But talking about the lifestyle, it all depends also on his life and the stages in his life. Like when I talk about lifestyle when he was a child, was different than when he was an adolescent, and was different than he's an adult. So every time, in every stage in his life, he learns new things. But the thing that doesn't really change is the routine. Like in the past, he has to go to school, and then when he comes back from school, he has to have his nap, because if he couldn't take his nap, he wouldn't be able to continue the whole day. And then after that, we continue other activities that all children in general and autistics in specific must have, like going for swimming, for sports, learning, always reading most of the time, and social communication. So as now Faris is 26 years old, his routine is very much predictable. So but the thing is that he wakes up very early in the morning, and he have all the time to do all the activities he's doing as a routine in the morning. But in the afternoon, after we all come from work, then we try to do different stuff, different activities with him.
Okay, so it's routinic in the morning
Yes.
and then the afternoon. So, Faris, what are some of the things that you find exciting in your daily life?
Sometimes my mom take me to a learning institute from Sabah Hassanem, or she gave me a salary when I write her own story
Yes.
in my own
nice.
notebook
That's his job. Yes.
every day of a week.
Wow, Faris, I think I'm going to quit my job and join you in helping Dr. Huda.
I agree.
So what about Faris? Are there any specific routines or rituals that help you feel comfortable?
One of my favorite routine is music, exercise, and helping my parents, my siblings as well.
That's amazing. Dr. Huda, I remember when I taught Faris in 2018.
Yes.
Yeah, that was like a decade ago.
It almost feels
Yeah.
like.
That time we were spending our summer holiday in South Africa, and then I found out that you have you're giving some courses, in conversational courses in English. So I approached you by WhatsApp, and the first thing you told me, well, I'm sorry, I've never dealt with an autistic, but I told you it's fine. Just let's try him.
Yes, I thought I had to have a certain degree
Yeah.
in this specialized
Yes,
field.
yes.
And I thought, what if I don't know how to teach Faris? What if, and then you told me he's high functioning autistic, and
Yes.
I thought, okay, he was the star of my class. One thing I remember for sure, two of my students asked me, we were joined by Faris, and I told them the story. Two of them were like, where is the autistic kid you talked about? And I told them that was Faris.
Yeah.
And they were like, really? We had no idea. They did not know that Faris was the kid we were talking about,
As
which
for
was
me-
an amazing moment.
Yes, but as for me as a mother, I was so impressed by the way you gave him a chance. Although you haven't seen him, but you gave him a chance, which for me, it's a wow thing. So I told you, fine, I'm going to pay. You don't have to refund it. It's like, I'm so happy that you have accepted him. I remember I shot a video of you
Yes, I
telling
have
me.
it.
And, you know, sometimes when I feel low, I get some relapses, I just go back to the nice videos that reminds me that I'm really lucky having him in my, your video is one of them.
Oh, thank you.
So it's
Okay.
a chance for me to thank
I don't want to
you.
cry now. Let's change the subject.
And then you became a friend.
Thank you very much. This was very special. How do you create a supportive and enriching environment for Faris at home?
Well, it all started right after diagnosis, and not only diagnosis, after I have already accepted him. Because when you accept your child, you start talking about him, then you start defending his back. And at the beginning, I started on my own circle, my family. You know, during Zwara, that weekly gathering of our
Yes.
family, sometimes Faris cannot tolerate the sounds, sometimes the noises of children. And sometimes when he was younger, he had those weird movements and the jumping, and everyone, they were wondering. So I used to explain, well, this is autism, and this is so and so and so. And then I started with my own family. When I talk about my own family, it's my children, his siblings.
Yes.
Because they were too young to understand what autism is. So I try my best to feed them loving Faris while they are growing up. Alhamdulillah, يعني, thank God I really managed to do this. And then I started with the bigger society, which is the biggest family of ours and my friends. And then the more bigger society is the people we meet everywhere in the malls and shopping centers, in events. When Faris, like for example, if he talks too much or sometimes he talks nonsense, I usually explain, well, this is autism, and I don't really feel ashamed doing this. I feel so happy explaining.
Yes, and it's not nonsense. It's something that we don't understand, but it's something he understands. Faris understands, yes. And what are some of the biggest challenges you face in terms of daily living like for you as a mother and for Faris? What are some of the challenges you face as autism?
Let me be frank. I'm anxious all the time. All right, because like for example, if Faris, I'm a working mom, and his father also works, and his siblings, they go to work and college and stuff. So sometimes we leave him alone at home. I don't feel anxious leaving him alone because he has his daily rituals and daily routine. I have no problems. It's just when he has to go somewhere, like going to the gym or going to the malls just for a walk, especially in the summertime, like he wants to walk. I get anxious that he might meet people who would not, so he would not be able to communicate with.
Okay.
Sometimes he trusts people so easily.
Yes.
So I'm sometimes afraid of abuse, for example.
Okay.
There are so many issues. It's like worrisome is my main issue, is like worrying about. I don't worry about his future. I just worry about him being alone in situations that I need to be there.
Oh,
Or
okay,
any
I
of
see.
his siblings or father is to be there. So I don't feel safe all the time.
I see. And Faris, how do you cope with sensory overload?
Well, that's a good question, Fatima. I have audio sensitivity overload. When we go into Zora, I didn't like high pitch. I really hated. And
High
not
pitch sounds like when the children, just
yeah,
play,
yeah.
and the people, they talk at the same time with, various pitches and.
yes, and not only on Zora, but but in the malls or the sea of crowds, which I did not like it.
Audio sensitivity.
This kind of makes me feel You know, I don't like
Nauseous.
crowd. Very nauseous. I don't like crowded places. I don't like the yapping in Zwara in the
nuance.
gathering.
Even the kids always always screaming
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
all the time.
And Dr. Huda, can you share some strategies that you've used to help Faris manage his emotions? You told me you refused to go by the book, and you actually trained yourself
Yes.
to how to cope with Faris's autism.
But at the beginning, I didn't have any books because autism at the time was not very well known. So I had to invent some strategies to cope with it. But
MashaAllah.
the main important thing is to understand, because as you know, that autism is a spectrum. The main point is to understand your child's emotions, what is really bothering him, what is really making, like comforting him. Some mothers who force their children to be in a place that they can't, like mingling with our other mates, their mates. They just don't know how to communicate. So how come they are going to play with them? So the child starts having tantrums, or sometimes he starts screaming because of the sensory overloads. So understanding the emotions is what the child likes or dislikes. I'm lucky also that Faris is verbal. Being verbal made it easy for him to explain his emotions. Like if he's in pain, if something is bothering him, he would tell me. And the more he grows up and the more vocabulary he's getting, the more he can express himself. So each stage in his life has its own strategies to cope with emotions. But reaching this age, alhamdulillah, in that he can exactly describes what he feels.
So Faris, are there any specific activities or tools that help you feel calm and centered? Of course, I know you listen to rock music. We have that in common.
You read my mind.
Yes.
And
What else?
Headphones protect me against the loud noises.
Perfect. So headphones. What else?
What else? Doing word search while I'm anxious.
He's talented in word search.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so whenever we go like to the dental clinic, he's so nervous. So he just takes out this word search and he starts doing them. And then sometimes he can't engage in some conversations. So he has his word search or his book. Then he lives his own bubble. So it's fine. As long as it makes him comfortable, we have no problems with it.
Wow.
Since teenage years, when I discovered the word search puzzle book, that I was so confused. Now I realize, like, I explored word search of all time.
Yes.
Like left, right, backwards, forwards, ups and downs.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Dear viewers, we'll be right back after this break. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We are still here with Dr. Huda Almahdi and her son, Faris. Now, Faris, we were just talking about the activities that you like, and you were interested in the podcast. Do you want to ask me a question? You can be the host now.
Oh, you can ask me away.
Okay. Do you want me to ask you or you ask me?
Please. I'm the interviewee.
Okay. Oh, nice.
He really likes it.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to ask also for Dr. Huda. Most autistics, they choose, or you choose for them a language. It's either, let's say, Arabic or English, and they excel in that language. I know this as an English instructor. Once they tell us about, there's this autistic kid, there's that, you only focus on one language in the first years.
Right. That's right.
How did you choose if it were the English language or the Arabic language, and how did he excel also in both?
Actually, as I told you in the beginning, because autism wasn't very much known in our society, so we had to ask for help from Western teachers. And they advised us, because he started to communicate with them very well, because English is it's a language that is very easy to learn. So they told me, you have to stick to one language, because like we live in a society where we have different dialects. Like for example, we speak a Kuwaiti, then you will find like an Egyptian and whatever. So he won't be able to understand. But English is like a one language thing. Plus, his siblings are in English school, so it's also easy. And for us, we didn't have any problem speaking in English. So we continued, using this language.
Yes.
Plus, the first, I can say, nursery who accepted him, it was like an English curriculum.
Okay.
So we just continued.
That's amazing.
And just to be frank, part of the denial of me that when they tell me, why is he behaving this way? Why he doesn't speak with us? I said, he only speaks English. He does not speak Arabic. So that's why he does not communicate. That was in the beginning when I was in the denial stage.
Did that help?
No, because he kept on growing up.
Okay.
And then during COVID, when we were staying home, like for a couple of years, we were just, that was the Arabic dialect or the Kuwaiti dialect was very much condensed. We used to speak a lot with him. So he started getting the language, grasping the language.
That's amazing. Wow, mashallah.
So that's why he started. Also, he can speak classic Arabic, like
Yes.
when he reads the stories, he could read Arabic, but he doesn't really understand Quran. He recites Quran quite often. But sometimes he doesn't understand what is said, so I usually explain in English.
Yes. To be fair, classic Arabic is a little bit different than
Yeah.
the Kuwaiti that we use every day.
Yes.
I agree. My native tongue is Arabic. I can speak Arabic very well, but sometimes something keeps really hard.
Sometimes.
So
yes.
I decided to choose English much better.
Also, Dr. Huda, I know that Faris has a very beautiful relationship with his siblings, Kautar and
لا ذكية. She's ذكية.
Zakiya, mashallah. And I know Nawaf, Mr. Nawaf Almahdi. So they love Faris, Faris loves them. What about the other social situations and interactions? How have you helped Faris navigate through those situations?
Because Faris has a charisma and everybody loves him. And then he would just tells you exactly what he feels. So many people is accepting in a bit awkward situations.
I don't mind when Faris tells me, you know, his honest opinion, like when we just met
Yeah.
and he said...
But it's a positive opinion.
Yes, it was. Because when I met him before, I used to be overweight. And now he was like, Miss Fatma, you lost a lot of weight. I'm like, thank you. You know, yeah.
And I like to say, you changed better.
Oh,
Because,
yes, you did.
because I felt like this is the new you.
Last summer we were in Edinburgh and we went to like a Chihuahua cafe.
Okay.
And then the girl who used to work there, she had scoliosis.
Like
And she's a
early
bit-
30s.
So he told her, "Excuse me, why are you like that?" He told her, and I felt, "Oh my God, that's so embarrassing." The very nice thing happened that everybody was fine. It was fine with her to explain. So she sat down in front of him and she explained exactly her medical condition.
Wow.
And that's what I really love to see in our society, that they would
Yes.
accept such behavior. Although
Yes.
to me, I was so embarrassed, but to them, she said, "You don't have to." Because I don't know, for a reason, they knew that the way he was asking,
He doesn't mean it in
He
a
doesn't mean it in a bad
unwell
way.
Yes,
Yeah, no,
that's-
no, yes.
In a very corrective manner. I did not make fun of her. I was
he's curious.
and I
because he's curious to
and I
know.
asked her very politely, happened to you? She said she had a scoliosis, and I realized that scoliosis, which means hunchbacked.
Then he went to find out.
and I
feelings.
respect that.
Yeah.
I was happy that he's really observing and he really wants to know. I feel embarrassed that they might not accept that. So thank God it went so well.
That's
Thankfully, she understands very well.
He has this pure soul, and he
Yes.
knows what bullying is.
Yeah.
The way he rejects bullying, it makes me so proud of him.
I was just telling our producers and our directors that I never had a problem communicating with Faris. I never had to change the way I speak to him like anyone else because I know Faris understands us. He understands our intentions.
Yes.
More than maybe, even, my closest friends.
Yes.
Because we communicate on the things that matter to us. When we talked about autism, I actually learned a lot about autism since I met you guys. How has your understanding of autism changed throughout the years compared to, for example, the first time you found out Faris was autistic?
A lot of studies is going on, and then I've attended multiple conferences all about the new studies about autism and the updates in it. So this is by itself. I was applying it on my son Faris and also other people I met with children with autism, and I was making a comparison, and autistics are similar to each other.
Okay.
They are only similar with symptoms, some of the symptoms like the repetitive, the sensory issues and stuff. But otherwise, you will find autism, it's a world by itself. It's an entity by itself that needs to be studied individually. Like, for example, Faris is a bookworm. I just taught him how to read. Then he just started reading. And I had other autistic children, they learned how to play music by themselves.
Wow.
They play an instrument like a piano or a guitar or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when I asked their mother, they said we didn't teach them. They just did it by themselves. And at the same time, they are nonverbal.
Yes.
They have challenges due to in academia. So it's so weird.
It is.
This is it, and you have to work on them.
and to understand them.
But I don't have to actually go in and study the
Yeah.
whole case, but just to understand that there's difference, but it doesn't mean it's bad or it's negative.
Yes.
It's just the way it functions. It's different than the way other stuff function.
Yeah.
This goes for everything in the world. It's not just autism. It's a lot of other things.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You also have people with disabilities, like my husband. He's disabled in his left arm, and
That-
people think it's different. It is different. It's not bad. It's just different.
Yes,
So
yes.
we learn to accept the people we love.
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
Yes,
and-
kudos to you and the rest of the people
Oh, yes.
who support disability and autism as well.
Thank you very much.
Anytime.
Also, we want to ask you, do you know the famous people who have autism? Like, for example, Temple Grandin.
Yes, I do. Based on a biopic.
She's a pioneer in livestock.
To show a movie what autism is about.
Yes, I agree. And how to
Yes.
use autism
And
when you have it.
not only about Tebe Grandin, but I know some of the famous people on Instagram, like Chloe Hayden from Australia, Paige Leo from Canada. Let's see, Charlie from UK.
I think he corresponds with Chloe. You correspond.
Yes.
She liked my comments though.
Yes.
Okay,
Her-
nice.
And I like her fashion.
Nice.
And I like her fashion. It's like revolution is now.
Nice.
It was very spontaneous.
That's amazing. Oh, talking about being spontaneous, do you find that this is encouraging when Faris becomes spontaneous and he answers or he comments like right as is, there's no filter. Do you find, because I find this very, I want to say courageous. It's very enriching to the experience of interaction and conversation. Do you find this positive?
It depends on the person who perceives that.
Okay.
Like that, this is one of the things that makes me really anxious when Faris is alone, because sometimes, like he would be, as you said, so spontaneous. Some people would understand, some people wouldn't. So it's not okay at all times. So sometimes when I'm with him, I have to explain.
Okay.
Well, he's autistic. He likes to do the comments, and I would find some, positive feedback, and some people would say, it's okay, we'd understand. But others, I mean, their facial expression says a lot.
Wow.
I mean, this is my son. He didn't harm anyone.
Yes.
And it's just a comment.
Yes.
And especially if we don't know this person, it's okay.
It's true.
It'll
It's true.
pass.
Yes, not only autistic people like my comments, such as like Chloe Hayden, but every around the globe, they liked my comments on Instagram.
That's amazing.
Even on Facebook,
That-
which I am very, very proud of.
That's amazing. We're proud of you too. Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Faris.
it.
That was it for this episode. That was amazing, actually.
You did a good
Eid.
job.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much for having them.
Thank you. What did you learn?
Well,
from-
definitely. I always mention this. Not only this episode, but all the previous guests that we get to meet. Every time we get to know more things about them, about life, about their skills and their talent. You learn more about determination, about how you can live and pass your way through life.
Even if you're different,
Yes.
the difference in us makes us beautiful. The difference means uniqueness. And this is something that I've taken from this episode. Here.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
I think we have reached the end. So we hope you enjoyed it. Stay safe and see you again in the next